Vic.
Hey.
Welcome to your V-Spot.
Thanks.
I'm Velvet.
I'm Vicky.
Or Vic.
Vic is fine too.
No, let's do Vicky. I don't like Vic.
Oh, you don't?
I like calling you Vic, but I don't feel like
people call me Vic all the time.
Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Perfect.
Couldn't care less.
Vic and Velvet.
Totally fine.
Here with your V-Spot.
Here we are. Once again.
Aren't you excited that we're here again?
I think people are excited.
They better be excited.
Of course they are.
Get excited, people.
It's a good one today.
We're exciting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because today we're going to talk about parenting. Mm-hmm. And we're going to...
In all of our wisdom.
Because we're so wise. I feel like we're going to skip maybe the younger stages.
Yeah, I
don't know how much of an opinion I have on that anymore.
I don't either.
I do, but I don't.
I'm
because
over
I think,
it.
Yeah, things have changed so much that I don't know how I would raise a young child now, right? So
I do it different in some ways, and
for sure.
Moving on.
Exactly. So let's...
And it's not fresh.
Right. So let's say 12 up. We're going to...
Okay.
12 and up, is that...
Yep.
Big enough spectrum?
I'm prepared to be opinionated on 12 and up.
So we have two 19-year-olds, female. One 17-year-old female.
Yep.
One almost 17-year-old male.
Yep.
And an almost 14-year-old male. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're dealing with.
That's
5 kids.
Combined.
3 girls, 2 boys.
Yeah.
All teenagers. That's what we have between the two of us.
Yep.
All right. So I feel that parenting as a whole has really changed, even in the last couple of years.
In the last couple of years, even.
Do you feel like COVID has changed parenting?
No.
You don't?
I don't. What makes you say that? Give me examples and maybe I'll agree.
I think that there's a lot more gentle parenting since COVID. I think...
Really?
Yeah, I do. I think like people are like...
teenage gentle parenting?
Yes. Like I feel like they are giving them more of an out for things. Oh, they had a bad year.
Got it.
Because it was like they had a bad grad year. They had this. They didn't get this. And it's a lot of excuses I'm finding now. Oh, they're acting like that. They're doing that. They're like they're on that route in life now because of COVID. Like I feel like that type of gentle... Is that gentle parenting though? Or is that...
Maybe just giving them extra allowances for a non-direction or
right.
a bit of laziness or complacency.
Laziness,
maybe.
For sure laziness.
Or giving them kind of maybe giving them a bit of an extra out.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't appreciate it.
No, of course you don't. No, of course you don't.
I don't like it.
No.
I still want people to parent properly.
Yeah, I mean,
what isn't, in my opinion, is properly.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't personally observed it. I might have picked up a bit of conversation, but mostly, what was that?
Wow, my pen just like. I'm glad that didn't hit my eye. It hit like right here.
The end of her pen, just like she's like kind of messing with it, just went flying off into the air.
Almost
hit you in the
eye.
Hit you in the forehead.
Hit me in the forehead. Wow. Do you think I can claim workman's comp or something like that?
I don't know.
I hope so.
We'll have to talk to the boss about that.
Stop calling him the boss.
Okay,
that's gonna go to his head.
He's not even here.
He's gonna listen to it. He's obsessed with us.
I know.
He's our biggest fan.
He is our biggest fan.
That's kind of nice.
He's supportive. I think that's great. We need a cheerleader for sure.
We have a couple of cheerleaders.
Yeah, I think it's important. I appreciate it. It's not wasted on me at all. Okay. No, I will take any cheerleading I can get.
Okay, but can you still calling him the boss?
Okay.
I don't like it.
But he is my boss.
It's not your boss.
He was my boss twice over for a while. Like in 2 different jobs, he was my boss.
I'm going to say this to you one more time.
I know you think that you're my boss for captive.
I'm your boss with the one business.
Okay.
I just let him do all the speaking.
Yeah. Okay. You can't have more than one boss at a business. You know that.
Really? You can't have like, we're both bosses, 50-50? Sure you can.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you're
my boss and he's my boss.
Oh, I thought you said you can't have
Oh, no,
more.
you can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Anyways.
we totally digressed there because my pen almost impaled my eye, but whatever.
We got nowhere to go. We got all the time in the world.
Hope you've got a long ride today because it's going to be a doozy.
Get comfy.
All right. So I'm just going to throw out certain things and let's give our opinions, experiences.
Yep.
Some things we won't have experienced because kids haven't done it, been there or whatever. But other things...
I'm sure we have theories.
Yeah. And between the two of us, I feel like we have most things covered anyway.
Yep.
So... Okay, here, we'll start at this because here's an easy-ish. Drinking.
Okay.
Before the age of 19. because here in BC, it's 19 is the legal age.
Yeah. So whether or not we would,
if they're allowed to. So it's grad right now. It's McKenna's grad year. There's tons of parties.
I feel like you were easier on McKenna than you were in Brooklyn. Is that correct?
I am 100% easier on McKenna than I was Brooklyn.
Yeah. Is there a reason for that?
I think you have to parent to personalities sometimes. I think I felt like Brooklyn wouldn't have used as much wisdom when it came to those types of situations, where I feel like McKenna's more like me. More like looks at things way more cynical and doesn't just get caught up in things. Whereas Brooklyn's more of a free spirit, I think. That's what it is. She loves to just go out and have fun. Whereas
you don't trust
me and McKenna are the ones that are sitting in the corner, kind of like the judgy eyes, right? Like that type of thing. Still having fun, but not to that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not a trust thing. I don't trust her more than I trust Brooklyn. I just think Brooklyn's more of a free spirit and can get.
So you felt the need to rein that in, have a bit of control over that.
Yeah. Plus, she's the oldest, right? It's my first time dealing with it. So our rule with her was no, like a flat out no. I know sometimes she's snuck it, and I caught her one time because I could smell her and her boyfriend at the time hopped in the car. They had been at someone's house, and it was like they smelled like fresh gum, and I was like, oh they're trying to hide that. And then I could you could kind of smell the alcohol too. So I was like, oh, so you were drinking? And she's like, what are you talking about? Like that. Anyway. So then she was punished for it, because again, don't lie to me about it. Now you did that and you lied. Now you're in trouble. But yeah, with McKenna, we've been a little bit more liberal. Her thing is she doesn't want to look out of place. So she'll literally take a White Claw and have that same White Claw in her hand the whole night, right? Just have a drink. Is she 100% being truthful with me? I don't know. I like to think yes. I know sometimes she probably has more than that, but I know a lot of the time for her, it's social for her. It's not about getting hammered, where for a lot of kids it is. And I actually know that's not what it is for her. So it's going to be interesting with Ashton though.
Right.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Like what your approach will be with that.
Even just because he's male.
Yeah.
I feel like you parent male and female different. It just is what it is, right? Yeah.
My daughter was not interested in drinking. She did have some social situations where there was alcohol. Zero interest in that. Just no interest. Dean, I don't know.
Okay.
That part of his life is kind of more starting now.
Yeah.
And we haven't really approached it. He's very much a rule follower. I don't know if he would be.
Are you going to tell him no though? Is that the rule?
I don't like it's illegal. So I kind of fall back on that. Yeah. It's not like I don't trust him or think he's going to do something stupid. It is illegal. I think I would probably, when in doubt, I just stick to that. Would I punish him?
Yes.
If he
did anyway.
If he did it anyways, likely not. To be completely honest with you, I don't. Again, Dean is so responsible.
Right.
So if he was a kid that was going out, getting drunk, doing stupid things, I wasn't trusting his judgment, I might have to put a hard, fast, firm rule in place.
Right.
Like, you're not drinking. You can't handle it. No good is coming from this. You're doing stupid things. You're getting yourself into trouble. I don't trust your decision making.
Totally.
That is not my kid.
Sometimes the firm no just makes them want to do it more too. And that's what people always said, like, oh, that's just going to make them. But I was one of those kids. You were one of those kids that just obeyed, right? We were very obedient kids. I still went to parties. It wasn't about that. I went to parties still. I had a good time still. I did not drink or anything. Like I just didn't.
No, neither did I.
It just wasn't, I don't even like to drink now though. Like it's just not my thing.
No.
But still, you can still, I don't think kids realize they can still go to a party and just have fun. Because I think going to grade 12 parties and stuff, grade 11 even, I think is like an experience. I think every kid should do them if they have the opportunity. It's fun. Those are memories that you have. Yeah. I still have memories from those nights. Like they were just fun.
I don't like the thought of kids getting together and all getting drunk and doing stupid things. Of
course not.
It scares me for the safety of girls. It scares me for, responsible decision making. Nothing good. Like what good comes out of that? Like I have fear attached to that. So I would definitely prefer my kid not to make those choices. But I'm not the kind of person, like I used to find it so interesting where I'm not allowed to date until I'm 16. That's like, why are you telling your kid that at 12?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've never put a rule down until that situation has arisen.
Right.
So we've never had that conversation with him about it because it's never come up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't. We'll see. We'll see. It's very situational for us.
Okay, so would you prefer if you found out they were drinking or that they were smoking weed?
I have no preference one way or the other.
Okay.
They both. If my kid was to form a habit, God forbid, I'd rather it be weed over alcohol.
Okay.
I wouldn't like either on a regular basis as a kid.
No, but if they're like, I'm going to do one of them, what one do you want me to do tonight? Like, if I'm going to do...
Weed, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always said to...
Yeah.
That's what I say now is I'm like, alcohol makes you take your clothes off. Like, if there's going to be something that's going to make you get crazy, it's going to be the alcohol.
Yeah.
The weed ain't doing that to you.
Yeah.
So...
I just feel like teenage guys get into fights under the influence.
Girls take their clothes off under the influence.
Guys assault girls under the influence. Girls... I just feel like no good comes from it. So I'd rather not have my kid involved in that. That scares me. I don't want him to say something stupid or
even just have to witness something like that. Right?
I don't want my kids exposed to that. Yeah. No good comes out of it.
Yeah.
Weed to me just feels a little bit...
People are chill.
Like I don't...
They're snacking and laughing on
it's
a couch.
A little it feels a little more harmless.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's a gateway drug. I've never believed that. I think alcohol is a gateway drug, if I'm going to be honest about that. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
I just don't think
it's way more addicting.
I don't want my kids being a pothead.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be these people who aren't motivated in life because they're smoking weed all day.
Right.
But I think it's the lesser of the two evils as a teenager.
Agree. I agree. Okay, so what about sex? At what age? So growing up, it was just a hard no for us. Hard no. You might as well been like beating people up.
It was like
prostitution. The major. Yeah, you might as well be a prostitute.
No, seriously.
It was like the sin.
Yep.
Like
because you're sinning against yourself, you're sinning against the other person and your future spouse.
Right.
That's a triple sin there.
And you're letting yourself down. You're letting God down.
Yep.
So many aspects to it. So it was like the hard no.
Yeah, incredibly stigmatized and shame.
Right. Yeah. So until I was probably until my kid was probably around 13, 14, I want to say she probably was. And I think we had a discussion back then, like it was a long time ago. And I think I finally just came to the conclusion that, so for us, with not having sex, so many people were getting married super young so they could have sex, right? Like, or even that they could, even if they were having sex, nobody would, like their parents wouldn't have a clue. They wouldn't have to hide it, right? Like now we can just, and that was a big motivator for a lot of people, especially when you're getting married and you're 19, 20. Like, I'm sorry, any male brain at 19, 20 is just so you can use that appendage. And now so many of those people are divorced, unfortunately. Like it's just obviously not a reason to get married. So I think if it's between them having sex with somebody or getting divorced later in life and possibly having kids by then and going through divorce, and it is so less damaging to have sex than to be divorced or now be a single parent or whatever, parenting from different homes. I just think it's a lesser of two evils. By no means do I condone it. I don't be like, hey, you should go get some tonight. Like I'm not, it's not, I definitely didn't do that, but we allow it in our house.
Yeah, you do.
We do. Yeah. At a certain age, obviously. Like
there's lots of components to that conversation. So, like, I mean, there's the Christian perspective and then there's the everyone else's perspective. So I think a lot of parents that aren't particularly religious or have any kind of like faith system would be an absolute no. Yeah. It is not going to be in our house.
Totally.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Won't even let like a boyfriend spend the night.
Yeah.
Or if they are, nowhere near
Yes.
The child.
Yeah, and there's a lot that way. I would never want a girl getting pregnant in my house.
Yeah.
That's for the protection of my own child as well. I don't.
Your son.
Yeah, I would never want that to go down in my house.
What difference would it be if it's in your house or her house? What's the difference?
There's no difference.
Okay.
I just would not want that to happen. I don't. For me, it would. It's just kind of a mentality for me.
Okay.
I'm not putting any kind of logic behind it.
No,
I just wouldn't want it going down in my house at all. I have
sex in general.
I don't want sex in my house. No.
Ever.
Nope. I don't want it. I don't care if you're married for 15 years.
Oh.
Don't want it in my house.
So your kids aren't allowed to be married and having sex in your house?
Probably not.
Interesting. Well, you can't stop that. If they're over for the weekend, you're not going to be like monitoring them.
Yep. Don't want it in my house. I'll put that rule in place. I don't want to. I don't want to be in. I don't want to have that conversation.
Okay.
I don't want it ever to be a thing where I think my kid is hooking up.
Okay, so I don't like. That's not allowed to happen in my house either. We're not hooking up. Let's clarify that.
It's a long-term.
This is a long-term relationship. Like this is not. A hookup. I don't like. That's not okay.
I get there's the thought of, okay, well, it's better at home than in the back of the car.
And that's where Kyle's head is with that.
I also have older, like our kids are getting older now. So obviously as they get older, what you say about things, your opinion,
irrelevant. Yeah.
Yeah. I think though, as long as my children are living under my roof, I would, if they want to have those kind of relationships, they can move out.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. That's totally fair. I get that.
I just don't want to be involved in that or have anything to do with it or have to have a conversation about it or have to be, no.
It's interesting now because, I mean, it's a very adult thing to talk about with your kid, right? When they're actually talking about it from experience.
Thankfully, I haven't had to.
It was horrifying for me. It was pretty horrifying. But sex aside, even the whole just like date, I find the dating for girls, I find for me was interesting. I'm always like, tell me about it. Like, have you kissed him yet? Like, I'm very into what's happening. Just like dating. Ashton, who is 13, has a girlfriend. So young.
Yeah, it is young.
His arm was around her and I almost died. Like, no. Hard no. Don't touch my son.
It's harder with boys, for sure.
I don't like it. I actually hate it. I actually really hate it. And for some reason, it's not as big a deal with the girls.
It definitely highlights the difference between raising, like the different genders and how, for me, it feels like my daughter is an extension of myself.
Right.
I can live things again vicariously through her.
I mean, yeah.
You're not. And it's not like I'm trying to like relive my life.
It's relatable.
It's relatable. Yeah. And it reminds you of things that you've been through.
That's right.
You get to kind of relive it for a minute.
Because those moments were good.
Yeah,
like,
you remember those
those are good moments.
It pulls it up in you again.
Yeah.
Whereas your boy, you don't have that for obvious reasons. So they almost seem more like you need to protect them.
I thought I'd just be more dismissive with him and just not care. I care way more. It's not what I was expecting. I was also not expecting him to be this young with a girlfriend.
Well, you also want to protect him from the wiles of nasty women, right?
Goodness, nobody better hurt my boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I get it.
And she's nice. She's lovely. Like, she's a lovely little girl. But like, dude,
I get it.
No, I'm ultra protective over him. I'm protective over the girls too, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. I don't know why.
No, I get it.
You've actually said this, and I 100% agree. You're kind of missing out if you don't have a son.
You are missing out if you don't have a son.
There's just something about mother-daughter relationships are good too. But I don't know if it's just because you're the same gender, and I feel like all females are kind of have their crazy side and all that, and you're just dealing. I don't know. It's different. Boys just love you. Like, even when they're naughty, there's something about it.
Moms of just girls will often be like, I don't even know what I would do with a boy. Right. They talk almost negative about it.
Right. Because I think they expect rough and tumble and all that. And that hasn't been my experience at all with my son. He's not like that. He's not a rough and tumble boy. He's sensitive and he's lovely.
It's it's a for sure. Like if to have one of each, I don't take it for granted. It's been an amazing blessing, and I'm so happy I have had that experience to parent.
Totally.
Both.
Not like, I don't think you have a more fulfilled life if you have both genders or anything. Like it's nothing
but
like
you
that.
Are a little bit missing out. A little bit.
Vicky.
You're a little bit missing out.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what sons. No. When they're older, they're going to be great too. They just are. He'll just always be my little boy.
Yeah, and it just, I feel like it gets better the older he gets.
Do you think it makes difference if they're the youngest as well, or if it's just a boy thing?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have
both of ours is the youngest, right?
Our youngest and our only, the youngest of girls and our only son.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. And there's also, I don't know if this is true either, and moms of boys can answer this, but I kind of wonder if the youngest of sisters is a special kind of kid.
Yep.
If there's something a little bit, I don't know, something softer about them or more sensitive or...
Okay, so do you think boy moms are missing out not having a girl?
Yep.
You do?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I do.
Okay.
I don't even know what I would choose. Like if someone said to me right now, you have to have just girls or just boys, what would you choose? I don't know what I would choose. I can't imagine not having a daughter.
Having daughters is so dramatic.
You'd say boy. I feel like you'd say boy.
I know. I'm actually struggling. Yeah, I am because girls are mine maybe, or just they're like me in so many ways, and that is not good all the time. But it's also really good sometimes because of that, right? Like there's that. It's either that this is how it is with daughters. This is how my experience. It's either amazing or it's shit. Yeah. Like there's never in between with girls. There's never just like neutral. I feel like they're like great. They're in a great space or they're down in the dumps. Where I feel like boys are just more even keeled or something.
I think too, like, and moms of older daughters and sons will attest to this. Like you have your daughter for life. So when she has her babies, they're your babies. Yeah. You get to be in the delivery room, hopefully. Right. Like you have such a special connection with your daughter's children where sometimes you kind of lose your son to his wife's family or his partner's family a little bit.
For sure.
So
for sure.
Yeah, it's you kind of lose your son a little bit.
I know.
So
not me. That ain't happening. Let me tell you that.
She's gonna be that mother-in-law.
That good luck. No, just kidding. What about dating age?
You know what? I never really had an opinion on that, to be honest with you. Okay. I kind of find for the most part dating to be harmless.
Yeah.
I always, I mean, I always just kind of found it odd for when people put in these like, you can date when you're exactly 15 years old. I'm like, what? Like, why that age?
Like one person at 15 and another person is not the same.
Yeah, and they live the whole, like I this one kid particularly, I remember Robin talking about her, was like, oh, when I'm 15, I'm like why? Yeah. And then you're at 15, you're looking for someone to date.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's kid by kid and it's who they want to date or how serious you think it's actually going to be. Like, I'm sorry. Like if they're grade 7 saying they have a boyfriend, I don't think we need to worry that bad about it. I think it's harmless. Yeah. I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Christian culture was so strict with that.
For me, it's more like what's happening at the other house. Like when he's there. Totally. Like that's more because he's younger. That's my only thing. I don't care if they're here. Like
or
it makes
they're
no
dating.
Difference. Or they're
you don't
dating.
care if they're dating.
No, it's not that. It's just like.
I think you definitely need to be involved in what's happening. Like where they're going. Are they going to be alone?
Meet the parents.
Like that's when you have to have talks about the sex thing and like.
Okay. So what age? What age do you think that's relevant at?
The sex talk? Mm-hmm. The second they hit puberty, I think that needs to be a conversation.
So what if you hit puberty at 9?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever too early to be talking to your kids about that kind of thing. Ever.
Interesting.
I think that should be part of conversation.
How much of a conversation, though?
Age appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, age appropriate. Boys deal with certain issues, and I think you need to talk about it openly. Same with girls.
Do you think it's more important for boys than for girls?
No, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. There's been too many kids that their parents don't talk to them about anything, and then it leads to teenage pregnancy because they're not having conversations.
Yeah, but do you think it's because they know how they're getting pregnant? It's not like they didn't know
how to do, but they don't know how to ask for birth control then. They don't know how to
Just to get the dialogue open so that it is.
Maybe
so they can talk to you about it if they need to.
Yeah, if your kids are going to do it, I'd rather have them at least feel you've set some sort of relationship up where that dialogue is happening and they feel like
they're going to be safe doing it. Yeah.
Like there's definitely higher pregnancy rates in communities or in towns where sex education is lacking. That's just fact.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
And that starts at home.
Or do you think is that in lower income areas where it's more single parent, that type of thing? And like moms or dad is at work all the time. They can't be home with the kids, like that type of thing. Is that a direct?
I don't know. I just think growing up the way we grew up, to talk to your kids about sex almost was perceived as you are giving permission.
Right.
So it wasn't talked about.
Right.
And lots of parents got lucky and their kids, it wasn't even an issue.
Like, I really didn't know what oral sex was until grade 12.
Right.
I had no idea about it. Like, it wasn't spoken about in my house at all, ever. Like, I never had those talks.
No.
Sex was talked about, but very generalized.
Would you wanted your mom to talk to you about that?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'd talk to my girls about it.
Okay.
It's like I said, it's I've been through it with one already. I feel like the second it's not as, or I feel like McKenna was around for the first talk anyway. She's always somewhere listening. Yeah. So,
and some kids really do not want to have those kind of conversations with your parents. So I think it is a kid by kid thing.
Yeah.
I just think it's important that your kids feel as if they can come to you with anything, whether or not you agree with what they're going to do or not. Right. You need to be able to have a conversation about it.
It's safe to come to you.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is that parents think, oh, if I don't approve, I don't agree, so we're not talking about it, but you need to, period.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Okay, what about sleepovers at houses with opposite genders? Like, say Robin had a bunch of friends over and the guys are staying over too.
I think you're at risk of, what scares me with that is that there's going to be some sort of accusation of something. Okay,
so I will tell a story.
Oh, this story, yeah.
Yeah. McKenna was having a sleepover for her birthday, 2 girls and her best guy friend, who I am friends with the mom. We're close. Like, it's not even like I know McKenna and him. There's nothing happening. They were probably 14-ish. And the reason he was staying was because I needed to get him somewhere the next day. So it made sense. There was not a thought in our head not to do it between me and the mom. And the other moms knew too that he was going to be there, right? I would never do that. So they're down in our basement sleeping. Everything's fine. Carry on with it. Like nothing, everything went well. And then a couple weeks later, one of the girls from the party made an accusation towards him.
That's exactly where my head goes.
And told everyone at school. And it was a complete lie, which she admitted to later. It was just attention seeking. And yeah, that I can't even imagine what that was like for him. Like, I can't even imagine.
I think people's heads go to, oh, we need to protect the girls.
Right.
And then you can say, well, no, the boy would never.
Yeah.
That's not where my head goes. Right. Having a son in my head, I need to protect my son.
Yeah. And I never ever thought about it that way, which is, it's horrible that you even have
sometimes you don't.
Either way that you have to think that your daughter's going to get taken advantage of or that a claim is going to be made against your son. So what if they're in separate rooms?
I have no issue with separate rooms. Okay. But I mean, there is the risk of, I don't know. I don't want anything going down in my house. So
if something can go down your house at 10 p.m.
Sure can. I don't want to make that easy.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to have something happen at 3 a.m. and then I'm blamed or some kid.
Is there a time that people have to be out of your house by then?
I don't think I would ever have I would never have a co-ed sleepover ever.
I know, but what time would they have to leave then in order for you don't want things to,
I don't care about that.
To go down?
No one's sleeping. No sleepover. It's just a sleepover thing.
Okay, so what if they're there till 4?
No one's staying at my house till 4. They can go home.
What if they are?
Let's say if I'm gone for the weekend.
Or you fell asleep.
I don't have steadfast rules about anything. Like, I can't be presented a situation. What about this? What about this? What about this? For me, it's completely my gut feeling in the moment. Who's there? Which kid is it? What's happening? What are they doing? what's going down. You can't control everything that happens, but I'm not going to make it easy for anybody. Okay. Put it that way. How about you? Well, how would you feel about that whole, like, would you have a co-ed sleepover after what happened?
Well, like grad night, the guys stayed here.
Yeah.
After the party.
Yeah.
There was probably, there was 3 girls and like 6 guys.
Right.
They all kind of just crashed. No problem with that.
Yeah.
I'd rather them be here than at someone else's house.
That's very common.
Right? And it yeah. I used to think that was cliche, but it's true.
It is so cliche. Yeah.
But I know where she is. I know where my kid is. So
yeah, but I'm at that happy. Point, yeah, again, that's situational. You know who the kids are. You know who your kid is.
And it was grade 12. They're all almost 18 at that point too, right? Like the majority of them were.
It's
right?
completely different. Yeah. Like, would you let Ashton with his 14-year-old friends?
No.
Yeah. Honestly, it really just comes down to whether there's a need for it. And I don't think there always is a need for it.
No, there's not. Definitely not.
I don't anticipate myself ever being in that situation. So I don't
You're past that age where it would be that type of decision to be made, I feel.
Really, and Dean does not like sleeping over at people's houses. Right? He has zero interest in that. Yeah. He'll go home. He has no interest in that whatsoever. He's definitely not having a sleepover.
Right.
So, I mean, with me, it's just hypothetical. I'm like, I don't know. So my answer would be an easy no.
Right.
You know, I haven't given it too much thought. Right. And I don't really have an opinion on it either.
What about making your kids go to church?
We don't make our kids go to church.
At what age was that a choice?
I don't think I've ever really thought about it.
If at like 10, Dean was like, you know what? It's not my thing.
Nope. I think I would have probably, like, we do this as a family. You're going to come along situation.
Yeah. So at what age is that is it a decision then?
See, Dean wants to go to church. So that,
no, I know.
I've never been presented with that either. And again, I'm very much like, I don't think about it
until it's actually
I don't make decisions in advance.
See, and I do.
I know
because I pre-think, I pre-play everything out. And that boggles my mind that you don't. I just assumed everybody did. No. Like, I thought everybody had a movie playing in their head 24/7 with different scenarios.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we're going to go over that one time.
Okay. No, I
feel crazy now that I...
No, it's not. There's no point in me wasting time going over a scenario that might not even happen.
Oh, absolutely.
We don't make Dean go to youth group. He's made the decision not to go to youth group, and we do not force him to go to youth group.
Okay.
If he said I don't want to go to church right now, I don't think I would make him go. I honestly think anything to do with personal belief, spiritual, I think that's a personal thing, and there comes a point where you can't force your kid to do anything.
But do you do it till they're 18 and they're legally allowed to make their own decision, or you just kind of, depending on the kid, decide where that
I think it'd be depending on the kid.
Like if we don't go to church, but if we still were.
But like, would you make Ashton and McKenna go?
I probably would, just because I'm the parent. I probably would. I'd be like, I'm the parent. You're coming. Like that's my approach to a lot, which is how I was raised. Because does it really kill you to sit in church for 2 hours once a week?
Why are you wanting them to go? That'd be my question.
Because I told them to.
Right.
Because I think it's not a bad thing to go.
No,
it's not like I'm taking them somewhere where they're going to be.
I think, I mean, I might ask them to go. Again, it's never happened where I've felt like that's been a thing for us.
Right. But your kids have been very, I feel like your kids have been gentle with you.
They have been. Like we've had a very, I guess, not been tumultuous. Yeah. We haven't had a lot of big decisions.
And stuff, or
they've just been it's been very low key as of right now. Like it just hasn't. It's been very non-eventful. Knock on wood. We haven't been faced with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
we've been, I guess, just fortunate with that.
Yeah,
big things could be coming. You never know what's around the corner. But as of right now, fortunately, we haven't had to make these kind of like decisions that people kind of dread having to kind of enforce, or we haven't had to go against things that we thought, oh, there's no way we'd ever let our kids do that, and be like, okay, maybe we will. We haven't had to make a lot of those decisions. Like I kind of had like ideas of how I would handle certain things. I'm definitely things stress me out a lot less than I thought they were going to stress me out. Like I thought the thought of my kids not going to church would be like the worst thing.
Yeah.
But I very much trust that my kids will do what's
best for them.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Your kids have good heads on their shoulders. Not like mine don't, but mine are just, I haven't been spared the way you've been spared.
Right. Yeah.
But that might be me too,
It
right?
could
That
be.
just could be my personality and how I parent. Like it might not be my kids, it might be me, you know?
I think it comes down to personality, to be fair. I really
That's
do.
fair.
I just have very even keel children, period.
Yeah, but so
always.
you and Ryan are as well, though. Whereas I feel like Kyle and I are a little bit more fiery with our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so what about phone time, video games, that type of thing?
This is where we probably are not the greatest parents.
Right.
I'll let you start with this one.
I feel like a lot of people aren't great parents in this area, actually.
Yeah.
So definitely it got easier on each kid as I got older.
Yeah.
Like Ashton plays video games a lot. Like he doesn't come out of his room a lot.
Yeah.
He does now because he's got a girlfriend, so he's out and about and doing things. But and he's discovered he loves basketball, so he's playing basketball and stuff all the time. But we don't have any limits. I don't feel like we ever did.
No.
Snapchat kind of came around like when Brooklyn probably was like 15, 16. So that's when she got into that. I mean, I don't like Facebook. I hate Snapchat.
I've never even put it on my phone, or have, but I haven't really used it. I think I used it like 4 times.
I have it only because I can, when my kids have their Snap maps on, I can see where they are.
Yeah, they can turn that off, by the way.
Oh, I know. They are not allowed to turn it off. They have to have it on because we've gone through a time where we couldn't find McKenna. She fell asleep at a friend's house and we were terrified, right? Yeah, exactly. So no, that is a new rule. I have the Find My Phone for them on, but sometimes that doesn't kick in, but often Snap Maps still will. So we have both. We probably should have had more of a limit to phone time.
Why?
Screen time.
Why?
Because it's just not necessary.
What negative has come from it, do you think?
The ability to talk to people in person.
Do you think so?
The amount of...
Talk about your kids, not in general. Talk about your kids. Do you think it's affected your kids?
Oh, yeah. That's right. The amount of things that my kids will say, and I'm like, oh my gosh, just use your words. Like, you have a crush, so we all do this all day?
Yeah, I know.
No words, just faces all day. What is that doing for you? Nothing. Like, it's so bizarre to me. I'm like, I had to pick up the phone, get that person's mom or dad on the other end, and then talk and take up the phone line for hours on end if I liked a guy. Like, it's ridiculous to me that they can have a relationship without even having to say words to each other. It's just dumb. It's dumb. I hate it.
But that's just the world now. It's not as if you're going to change that with your kids alone. Like, they have to.
And I realize that, but they go to your friend's house and talk to them. Don't snap them or FaceTime them. They're on they'll walk around. Brooklyn with her boyfriend walks around with him on FaceTime. I'm like, am I in my underwear while you're walking through the house looking at him on FaceTime? Or like what? Like, it's too much.
They have such a different social world now. Such a different social world. Like, Robin has a massive amount of friends that are not even in the same country.
Right. Yeah.
Huge amount.
I think it's great for stuff like that. I do. I think it's ridiculous for just talking to your friends that you could actually just be hanging out with.
It's for sure like a little lazy.
It's stunting.
Robin was always super paranoid with stuff on the internet. Like, she doesn't
love social media.
To this day, like, the friends that she does have that aren't like, that are overseas or whateve, they've even heard her voice. Like, she's maybe a couple of them have, but she's extremely like,
they just chat.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Dean, I don't know what's going on there. And that's my bad. But
what do you mean by that?
I don't know who he's talking to.
Okay.
I don't know. I hear him on there. Because he's yelling, doing stuff, playing games.
Does he have a time that he has to be off at night?
No.
So if he was up still at 3 a.m., that's okay?
Dean wakes up every single morning at 5:30 to get a start on his day.
Okay. So it's a non-issue.
He feels like the day goes quicker at school if he's got a good start to the day. We did have a little bit of a time where he was having trouble getting out the door on time, or he was sleeping in a little bit. So I said to him, like, you're going to be turning in your phone and your computer at night if you don't get this together.
Yeah.
He got it together.
Okay.
He tends to shut it down around 10, which is appropriate to me.
For sure.
So it's not an issue. Like he's pretty responsible and organized. I know he's kind of pushed the limit.
Sure.
A few times, but for the most part, he's been pretty responsible.
He pushed the limit.
I know. Again, like I don't believe in picking battles I don't need to pick.
Yeah.
Like
if it's not affecting him,
it's not affecting him. Like I'm not going to start making all these like rules and getting all involved because it's never been an issue.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I don't know if that's called if we're really hands off with him. I don't know. I don't know if that's bad. I don't know if that's going to bite us in the.
Well, you'll know it's bad one day when you find out he's like the kingpin of some sort of like drug ring.
Very much could be true. I honestly have no idea.
He's making some good money. He's being productive.
I know. I honestly have no clue.
Well, I don't either. Technically, I know he is playing video games because Ashton doesn't do anything else on there, but that I know of. But I could hear him playing video games.
That's
the screaming at his friends.
Exactly.
And his headsets.
It's called yelling.
I know what he's doing for them. So, and even with that plays into bedtimes too, right? Mm-hmm. So the girls were way more strict. Like at a certain age, like they were in bed by 9 still, probably at 15. Like I was strict. They were in bed at 7 till they're like 10. Like we were those parents. Ashton, but he also he can stay up till 3. I mean, I know his bedtime is 10 o'clock.
Right.
I know he's up past that, but he has to shut it down at 10 and then at least
start winding down.
Yeah, be laying in bed. He can still be on his phone watching something or whatever, but he's not playing video games at that point. But I know he stays up late sometimes, and he always wakes up properly in the morning though too. We have to wake him up, but he's never cranky in the morning.
He gets out the door.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect him. Whereas the girls, dear God, they're more like me.
Yeah.
Like, they need their sleep.
Robin was very much I'm supposed to shut it down at this time. I will be shutting it down at this time, and I will be in bed. She never pushed anything with that. And I feel like right now I'm like, oh, my kids are so easy.
You are a little bit.
I don't mean to be, but they really were. Like
they are. They're not were. They are.
Robin never even called my bluff on anything. Ugh. Like she just they're just those kids. I don't know what else to say.
I hope my kids are listening to this.
It's just their personalities. I don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everybody who's listening who thinks I'm so annoying.
Who cares about everybody else? What about me? I'm dying right now. This is horrible.
Okay, so it's just personality. I've told you this before.
I feel like a shit parent.
No, I don't think it's parenting. I really don't. I think if I raised your children, like let's say God forbid something happened to Kyle and you, and I lovingly
that's so nice,
adopted your children and brought your children into our abode,
into your fold,
into my fold, and raised them as my own.
Yes,
as I would.
Obviously, except for I've left them to my sister. But yeah,
okay,
because she needs 7 kids.
She needs 7 kids. I feel like they would be the same personality type. I think I'd have the same challenges that you are dealing with.
You don't think it has anything to do with you?
The nature versus nurture thing. Maybe. I think certain fights that you have with your kids is a direct result of your personality butting against their personality. Right. I might have different issues with those same.
Apparently not.
With your kids, I might though. Don't get me wrong, I have issues with my kids.
I know you do.
It's not behavioral though.
Yes, right.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like. I did my time when they were younger.
That is true. Yeah. That is true. My kids were easier younger.
They were.
I will 100% attest to that. They were. My kids were easy young.
Yeah.
They definitely hit a certain age and then were dear God in heaven. I make them sound like they're horrible. They're not. They're generally really good kids.
Oh,
it's home things. They're not bad out in life. We always hear how lovely my children are, which you know what? Ultimately, that's what matters to me. If they can conduct themselves as good humans outside of this home,
I will adopt. I'm willing to adopt your children. So that just tells you right now that I'm okay with that.
Okay,
Tiffany, if you don't want them, I'll take them.
I think she might take you up on that. Although Brooklyn's 19, I think she's going to take them.
She probably will take them.
Yeah. I think I have that in the will that after 18, Brooklyn, I'm like, she knows that. But Brooklyn, you get to parent your brother and sister. Have fun with that, Ashton and McKenna. What about post-education?
In what way?
Post-education.
Post-secondary
secondary education. Thank you.
Whether we push the university thing, I think we both might have strong feelings about that.
You and I. I don't know if mine's strong, but this is my feeling.
I don't appreciate kids being made to feel that if they don't go to university, they're going to be losers in life.
They're less than.
Yeah, that bothers me.
I agree.
I think they should be. I mean, some schools do a better job at this than other schools. Robin for sure was incredibly stressed out about it. She felt as if she didn't go to university immediately. She was missing out. She was feeling forced to make these decisions young. I don't think you need a degree to be successful.
Right. There are very good paying jobs out there, or self-made people that are doing much better than someone that has like 8 years education.
Yeah. I would never ever pressure my child to do post-secondary education.
Yeah.
If they want to work and keep working the rest of their lives, more power to them.
What do you mean work?
Like get a job immediately and then just move up the ranks in jobs and never do college or university, even a trade school. Yeah. I have zero issue with that. Yeah. None at all.
We feel the same way. I know a lot of people, though, that feel very different about that. Like they're very university strong. I feel like it's also maybe even more pushed in the United States. I feel like it's very much a culture thing there. So it's not as much in Canada, but still a thing. Like definitely it's out there. And McKenna has also, Brooklyn never felt that pressure because she was doing the acting.
She had her thing.
She had her thing. It didn't require post-secondary.
She had her trajectory.
That's right. Whereas McKenna feels guilt in not going or not knowing what she wants to do next year. And I'm like,
it's embarrassing.
No, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. But then also all your friends are going and now you're missing out on university experience because all your friends are there and you're still sitting at home with your mom working at Starbucks, which is fine. But that's in the back of her head too, right? I want to go. I want to be with my friends still. I'm missing out now.
On a whole stage of life that could be hers.
That's right.
I know, I don't know if this is a Canadian thing, but people who have gone to university and gotten their degrees are kind of more in that world. They'll be like, oh, we can just tell they're so uneducated. And I always wonder if they're meaning like they didn't get post-secondary, so they're just idiots who don't know anything about the world.
Right. Or if they're just uneducated.
Which is incredibly offensive.
Well, half the kids at our university don't come out smarter.
No.
All of them are there just for university experience. Like just barely passed. They don't really care. All that money that parents have spent on university or that student loans are for nothing.
They can come out a dumbass, let me tell you.
And being smart doesn't make you a good human either, or make you better in life, because sometimes just doesn't mean you're going to have hustle and work ethic just because you're smart.
I think a university degree or whatever, if it's a means to what you want to do in life, you go for it. It is not the be all end all.
It's not a necessity.
And I don't know why we're pushing it so hard.
Nope, I totally agree. How about, we'll do a couple more here. How about punishment with kids? So by that, do you have any, let's do this maybe funner word, more fun. What are some fun, maybe different ways that you have punished your kids that?
I was really into, this is the funniest thing I've ever done. My kids were going through a stage where they were fighting a lot in the car, really being so annoying, ruining every car ride because they were getting at it. And my kids weren't really fighting with didn't fight with each other a lot, but they did in the car for some reason. So we were driving them to school. For some reason, Ryan and I were dropping them off together. And because my kids are both very obedient, Robin probably more than Dean, I threatened them. I'm like, if you keep this up, I'm going to make you get out of the car, hold hands, and walk down the sidewalk. Sure enough, didn't stop. So I made them get out of the car, hold hands, and walk down the sidewalk. Yeah. So they had to hold hands on their way into the school. That's probably the most creative thing I've ever done. Love it. And it worked. I love it. The bickering completely stopped.
Yeah.
I'm shocked they actually
did it.
Yeah.
My kids wouldn't have. My girls would have acted like their hands were touching or something. I guarantee you. Or McKenna would have just pouted in the back and refused to get out. That's what I deal with my kids. So she would have been I'm not looking like an idiot in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most creative thing I've done.
I like it. That's a good one. I think the one that's happening actually currently in my home is doors off.
I've heard of the doors off thing before.
So that happened to me. I was obedient, but I had an issue with my room. I just never kept it clean, and my mom wanted it clean. So when I didn't keep it clean, they told me they were going to take it off if I didn't keep it clean, and they did, and I had it off, and that was horrible for me. Like, that was I was a kid with the door shut kind of kid, right? So we did it. McKenna and Ashton have the upstairs to themselves, so both of them were living like pigs. And so we took their doors off. And the best part about that is our rooms face each other. So like they can just see into each other's rooms. Like, it's amazing. Ashton got his door back fairly quickly. It should come back off again, but he got it back on. McKenna's been off for probably about 6 weeks now. So clearly it's not working because her room's still not clean. Because they have to go 3 days and then they get it back. And then I don't expect it to be pristine. I expect you not to be pigs.
Totally.
That's it. Like, bring your dishes down. And to the point where we were like, you're not allowed to eat in your room anymore because you never bring, I have no spoons. Where are all my spoons? Like, go clean your room out because I need spoons. That's a ridiculous request. That should never be said to a child. So we thought the door would work with McKenna, but no. So we're going to have to figure something else out for her.
I was always confused with, punishments that don't match what was going on.
Right.
So like even when like Dean was like, or Robin was really little, like I can't remember which kid was more like this, but one of them was more into like opening the fridge and emptying all the yogurts out. They were more that kind of kid.
Right.
So to me, an appropriate punishment was making them clean it up. That's an appropriate.
Yeah.
Or you'd hear some kids, oh, they got timeout. I'm like, that makes no sense to me.
Right.
So I was all about like appropriate punishment. Like it needs to kind of match. Like I used to do this thing, my kids probably don't even remember it, but like if you're talking back, you lose your privilege to talk for an hour. Right. So now you don't get to speak for an entire hour.
Right.
Just stuff like that. Like just very appropriate, like to what they're doing.
Right.
That was my thing. I wasn't really into timeouts, go to your room kind of stuff, unless I was going to actually kill them. I need to not see them anymore. Yeah. But
it's a safety issue at that point.
Yeah, at the point we all just need to be safe. My whole philosophy was that the punishment had to match the crime.
Yeah.
So in their brain, they made that connection. That was my thing anyway. I don't know.
Sometimes that's just not. Now I feel like give me your phone is usually gonna. I thought the door thing would be good. It's not working. We're back to phone. That kills them.
Well, that's their currency, and I think that's with me. It was like a child where they aren't necessarily going to connect the timeout with what they did. And most my punishment did happen as when they were younger.
I was going to say it's an age thing too. Yeah.
At this age, that's more appropriate.
Yeah, you can't take. And taking the iPad away from your 7-year-old is more of a punishment for you. Like in the car, you're acting like that. Give me the iPad. Well, no. Like you have to be. We're very much about follow through too. So if you say it's got to happen. So don't be ridiculous in your threats. Yeah,
that was the worst when you hear parents threaten the most ridiculous things.
You're never gonna.
do that. You
can't do that. Like it's just no. I know.
You're really not gonna let that kid go to the school field trip tomorrow, and then what? You're gonna take the day off work and stay home with them. Right. Like let's think this through. Yeah. They just. Oh, I hated that.
You're not going to have a birthday, even though everybody's coming over in an hour and I have all the supplies. Yeah. But no, you're still going to have your birthday. So
you have to call every single parent and tell them it's actually canceled. Out your child as being a
dick.
Yeah. Like, no, you're not. You're never doing it.
No, I know.
Yeah, it just means
follow through is huge.
Yeah, I could go on and on about that, but I'll stop for now.
Okay, here's one. Parenting another person's kid in front of them. Is that ever appropriate?
It is.
I agree.
It is appropriate. Extreme circumstances.
Do you feel like it's easier if you have a relationship with that kid already, or it doesn't matter? Or with the parents? Does that make a difference?
It's scenario for me. So if I'm somewhere and a kid is mistreating my child, I'm going to step in and be like, hands off, you're not doing that to my kid. I don't care if the parent's there or not. You're affecting my kid.
For sure.
I'm gonna rip your face off.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Not really.
So in that case, if I see a kid keep like knocking over something or spilling things, if it's not directly affecting me or my kid, I'm entertained watching this go down. I don't care.
Okay.
It's not my business.
If you see them being naughty, you don't care. Okay.
It's not my business to discipline that.
Yep.
If I think they're going to hurt themselves or do damage to something, then maybe I might give the parents, oh, by the way, your kid's like about to electrocute themselves. So maybe
you wouldn't stop the kid directly?
Okay, you know what I'm saying. Of course
no, I'm wondering, would you ever?
I would save a child's life. I would save a child's life. I would save a child's life.
Just find your mom. Hold on.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, would you ever, not an extreme circumstance, but would you ever do it directly in front of the parent if the kid was just being a dick?
And the parent isn't dealing with it?
Yeah. And it's uncomfortable for everybody at the table. Because the kid is just ruining the experience for everybody.
I might be pushed to that. I might say something. I would probably do it in a way that kind of embarrassed the parent. Like, let's give an example. Let's say the kid was screaming at the top of their lungs, like just screaming, and it was bugging the other kids and it was bugging me, and parents were getting irritated, and the mom wasn't dealing with it. I think I would start saying things like, "That's very loud, and nobody likes that." I would start doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, that's really hurting my ears.
Right.
Like I wouldn't be like, stop it right now, or I'm gonna put you in. I would never react in a disciplinarian way.
Yeah.
I would definitely have a commentary about it.
Right.
How about you?
Oh, I've done it.
Okay. Can you share the story or no?
I think I can. I'll be a little bit vague maybe, but I think I can. It was just a circumstance where this kid just used to act out a lot, and he's a lot better now, but he used to act out a lot, and it was easier to appease him than to punish him, because punishing him, I think, would have meant
a scene,
either a scene or a parent leaving the situation.
Okay.
And usually it was a situation where, like, we're on vacation, like that type of thing, where one parent leaving means someone's going to have to go sit at the hotel room with this kid for the night. Like, but it came down, there's a sibling, and it seemed to me and to others that the sibling almost was getting the brunt of it, even though it had nothing to do with the sibling, right? Like, they were blamed for things, reacting to the problem child. One kid's getting in trouble because they're reacting to what he did, but really that wasn't. And then they'd hear the kid scream, so now she's in trouble, right?
Got it.
So we were at a dinner at a resort, and it had been a couple days of this already, and I was done. And there was a knife involved at this point. Like, we were playing, they were like playing, it was a fork, not a knife, sorry. It was a fork, but still like stabbing like this. Like, and I was just like, that's enough. And then I said it, and I didn't even care. And she's one of my best friends, but it was to the point where I was like enough's enough. Like, I couldn't handle it anymore, and probably totally overstepped. But
was it awkward after that? Or like, was there any apology?
I feel like it was like awkward for like 5 minutes, like that initial, not for me, more for her.
Did you have any regret? Like, oh, I overreacted.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
And I actually think that the daughter appreciated it a little bit. Like, I felt like it wasn't about me saying something to him. It was about me advocating for her.
Right.
Because I was seeing it. I was seeing it in a totally different way. I'm not the parent, right? I was seeing it happening in real time. They're down the table listening to what's happening. Like, I saw it, and I was like, nah. Like, now she's getting in trouble for no. I was just done. I don't like that type of stuff, right? Like, injustice for. So I spoke up.
No, I think that's fine. Especially if you know the family, you know the dynamic, you've been around it for a few days, you're watching what's going down.
Yeah.
Fair.
I just think it's better that way, even than bitching about it behind. Like, I just rather.
I completely agree with that. And I also feel like we don't community parent anymore.
Right.
We're all very I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel there's more of a defensiveness about our children, and like, no one can tell them anything.
Right.
It goes through me. How dare you speak to my child that way? And I love the thought of, we didn't really have this, but I think the thought of having a community of friends and parents that know each other's kids and love each other and love each other's kids, or at least have a close enough relationship where I can trust them to kind of step in when they need to.
Do you think, though, so in our day, like I'd go to a friend's house, that parent might as well have been my parent. What they said went. Like there was no, and my parent would never be upset with them for like them if I did something at their house for telling me off for it. Like that was just, it was a respect thing. It was an adult to child thing. I feel like we're lacking that. I feel like a lot of parents parent like their kids are their equals too, right? So they go to someone else's house and they think they can get away with whatever the heck they want. Whereas I think back in the day, I feel like it was more just like, I'm the parent, you're the child. End of story. And it didn't matter who the parent was. If you're in my house, I will tell you that you're acting like a fool.
Yeah, kids for sure have less respect for their elders now.
Yeah.
But that's coming from the parents.
Right. So that goes back to our millennial talk. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, again, that's, yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you though. That would be parents' fault.
Okay.
That's not the kid's fault.
I agree. No, I totally agree. What about
these are great, by the way.
Do you like these?
Yeah.
Okay, good. 2 more. What about how much parenting is too much parenting? So like at what age? Not at what age, but like at what I don't think it could be an age because everybody matures at different levels, but when do you step back? So we're at that stage now where they're adults. When do you just let them fail?
This is the hardest question I think you could ever ask me right now.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, they still need to be parented at this age.
Very
at
much
19,
so.
We're talking, they need parenting at 19. But I also
They're almost 20. Like Robin's going to be 20.
She's going to be 20.
Like they're actual adults.
I feel like I cannot parent a 20-year-old. Like honestly, like I just think there comes a point where you have to just have expectations of what you want to happen in your house, what your expectations are. They're going to live in your house. These are our rules, our expectations. Live here, abide by them, or peace out. And I think that's all it comes down to. I think you really have to let them fail, which is so hard for me to.
It's actually the worst. It actually is. Brooklyn's moving out in 3 months.
That's amazing for her.
Which I love.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I love. She needs to. She's ready.
Yeah,
she just needs to get out and learn who she is.
Yeah, apart from her parents.
That's right. And she's hungry for that. Like it's not, she's by no means being pushed, but I am so happy that she's going and doing this because I think it's going to be fantastic for her. She's going to learn so much about herself because as you have said, apparently I'm a helicopter parent, but
I did not say that.
No, I think you did.
No, I originally said, I don't think you are. And then we read the description. I'm like, oh, maybe you are.
Yeah, right. I'm involved in a lot of facets of my kid's life. I'm involved in almost all of it, actually.
You're controlling to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Or even indirectly controlling.
Right.
You try to control in your own mind.
Because I know. Do you know what I mean? Because I do know in certain circumstances that decision is not going to be the right one. There's certain things that, of course, I don't know. But there's other ones I do know. You can see it coming.
She deserves the right to figure it out for herself, though.
I totally agree. Hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. To the point where she was going to go in a month, but through some convincing, she's going to wait a bit longer, just make some more money before she leaves. She's only going into the city, so she's only going to be an hour away. But just have more of a cushion for when she is on her own.
Just logical common sense.
I know, but Kyle's just like, go. And I'm like, no, wait till you have a little bit more. Like it also sucks at the same time because this is my first kid leaving the house and she's not moving across the world, but to me, she might as well be.
And once she's out, you really have no say so. Like zero say. You can't even try.
I don't even now, really. Ultimately, I can give my opinion. Ultimately, it's her decision. It is. Everything.
I don't think I would have ever expected to be so tormented at parenting this age because I feel like I don't even know what's appropriate, what isn't appropriate, what the norm is. Every kid is so different in how mature they are, what their needs are, where they're at in life, like what's awful. there needs to be a support group for this.
There needs to be a podcast for this.
Podcast, but we're not educational. that's our trouble.
But we're relatable.
We are relatable. I don't know if we're like. I think sometimes the relatable thing though is helpful because you're not alone in what you're going through.
And so many people won't talk about it because they feel shame in their parenting.
Yeah. Like they feel like they don't know what they're doing. They're not going to admit they don't know what they're doing. Right. It's okay that you don't know what you're doing.
For sure.
That's fine. Like, but no, people don't want to admit it. So, yeah, hopefully.
You just got to hope you did enough. Like, again, in public, people enjoy my children. That's good and all. But like, there's so much she doesn't know yet. But there was so much I didn't know too, right? Yeah. And I learned it. It wasn't like everybody does. It's hard.
You have high expectations, I think, too.
You think so?
I do, yeah.
Like,
I think you expect her to rise to a higher level of wisdom and common sense that she hasn't quite achieved yet because, like...
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do. And that's okay. Like, I think high expectations are good.
I assume. And then sometimes I'll think back and be like, oh, well, of course she's not thinking that yet.
No, of course not. Yeah. She's 19.
It's also hard not to put thoughts in their head then too, right? Like, yeah.
I have high expectations too.
Yeah.
I do in different ways, but I for sure do. And I know that I put undue pressure.
Right.
That it is not necessary. And yeah, I'll probably get it a little bit more right with my second, but it's really hard when you're doing it for the first time.
It is, but yeah, I don't know.
It's almost like frantic parenting.
I have one
that's scrambling.
There's one that can't wait to get out, and McKenna doesn't even have her license or her learners yet. Like she's just like, I'm with you till the end. Like she just wants to be at home.
And that's an opposite problem,
right?
I know. It's just so kid by kid.
Can't win. Although the girls have talked about moving out together now. So I'm like, that could be interesting.
That would be amazing. I tried to suggest that.
Yeah.
And Dean's like, I'm not living with her. I'm like, oh, but that would have been so much better if you guys could share a place. He's like, no. And they get along. So I'm not really sure. They do
get along. And my girls don't.
I don't know. Like, he is so independent. Like, he doesn't want any kind of, like, eyes on him.
Yeah. He just wants to do his own thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to break my heart.
No, Brooklyn had suggested it, and I was like, yeah, you sure that's going to be the best thing for you guys? But maybe it would be great for them too. You
don't know. And I've noticed this consistently through my kid's life that when you try to intervene and try to manipulate things to what you think is best,
it's not going to go your way.
No, like things kind of, I don't always believe that things happen for a reason, but I do feel like sometimes it's just what will be, right. And that is what the path that they were meant to be on, right. And that's they're going to learn and grow from whatever position they're put in. Because I remember like hearing about like parents flipping out over their kid not being with their friend in an elementary school class, and they would manipulate the entire schedule, or not schedule, but like class list, and make sure their kid is with that friend. It's like, why are you robbing them the opportunity to make other friends in other classes? Or why are we so... I get it if your kid has social needs or there's certain situations where you really feel like they're not going to...
be okay without a person, yeah.
But I think in 99% of the cases, your kid's going to be just fine. They're going to be stronger for it. They're going to meet new kids.
Totally.
It prepares them for life. Protecting and shielding and bubbling your kid from every possible uncomfortable feeling, you're doing them a massive disservice.
I agree.
And that is the hardest thing as a parent to do, is just to let them feel uncomfortable. I don't know why that's so hard.
Because you don't want them to fail.
Yeah.
You don't want them to ever not be in a good place. It's just...
Yeah. It's hard to watch your kids suffer when you know you can... I think that takes so much strength as a parent, is to watch your kids suffer and work through something. We try to prevent it.
Although I have had people in my life, though, that have took a totally different approach and were very hands-off. I don't know what's better, because in some ways I think the relationship with the child then suffered because they don't know their kid. They didn't get to know them that same way. They didn't talk through everything. Like, I feel like they missed out on the basis of a good relationship for later as adults together, right?
There's a happy medium for sure.
I think so too. I need to chill out a little bit probably.
You'll get
but
there.
That's okay. Or not. Or else always be hyper and high strung, but whatever.
You are who you are.
I am what I am.
Like, I don't know, like, what else are you going to do but be who you are? You can fight it, or you can just try to...
I could try be a little bit more chill.
You can try. But again, you are who you are. And you're fighting your own personality on this one too. And I'm fighting my own personality. Yeah. And like, I beat myself up over certain things. Like, I'm just doing the best I can.
I think it's also important that moms and dads, but moms especially, have other outlets besides their children. I think a lot of people, like, your life is your kids. That was very much me, right? I need to get out with my friends more. I need to not, because when that's the only thing to focus on, of course, that's all I'm focusing on. So I need a new hobby.
Yeah. You certainly came up with one. You did very good.
Do you like my new hobby?
Do
you like this? Yeah. I thought we'd try it out. You know, whatever.
It's a pretty big hobby.
It's a big hobby. I'm glad you like my hobby.
It is true, though. Like, it's never good to be hype. You know what? It's not fair to your kids either. I don't think that your kids need to have them be... Like, I don't think it's fair that my kids would feel like they're responsible, like, for my entire world.
Right. That's a lot of pressure. I agree. I would never want my kids to think that, because that's not how
and
I
your
feel.
Happiness is dependent on how their happiness.
I don't feel like I've ever put them in that position, but I can understand why they might even think that though, because I react to certain things. I react to everything. I didn't used to react to things. Everything is I'm very reactionary now because it's real life issues now. It's not.
Oh yeah, it is real life issues. It's long-term big impact decisions too. Like, this is life trajectories.
Right.
It isn't like little temporary.
And decisions that they do make now will and can impact.
But I just keep reminding myself it's all life lessons. It's shaping who they are as people. Yes. And most things can be corrected.
Agreed.
As long as they're safe.
We'll have to
day at a time.
Do more podcasts.
Yeah.
Distract myself.
We'll just every time something's coming up.
Vicky, can you come to a podcast?
Right. How about a podcast?
Real quick. I'm having a mom moment. Can we come talk about it? Let's air all my dirty laundry for everybody in the world.
Well, if it's...
Oh, that was presumptuous that I think everybody in the world is listening to me. That is so presumptuous.
So for our listeners in Germany.
Worldwide. The fans worldwide. All right. Do you want to dig into
that was our last one?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to dig into the bowl of... Oh, wow. I've scratched my leg so many times that I've taken the actual jean off my jean.
Like, why are you scratching your leg?
I don't know. Apparently, I have an issue.
You have a tick?
A tick now.
Oh.
I'm fidgety. Again, we got to talk about we need an expert in because this needs to be diagnosed.
Yeah, we need to diagnose Velvet. The woman who doesn't want a label wants to be diagnosed. So this is our hot topic bowl. We have a bunch of hot topics, kind of like current issues, pop culture stuff. Some of them are serious, some of them are fluffy. She's mixing it up real good. We don't know what's in there. They've been predetermined for us. So she's going to read one, and then we are just going to do a little quick take on it, and I'm a little bit scared.
I just feel like it's so the person picking these for us. I just don't. I can see him choosing this one. The last one was super random for us. Transgenders in sports.
Oh, in sports.
Yeah. So it's more specific at least.
So okay. I can see why this is a topic because I think it just sure. They have just the World Athletics has banned
it for anybody before after puberty.
If they've gone through puberty,
yes,
right.
They no longer can participate in these sports. Which, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
Mm-hmm. I can't even believe this was a discussion.
Like, how far have we gone to the crazy side? I'm sorry. How far have we gone to the crazy side?
Yeah, like, that's nuts.
There is no possible way, and I'm thinking more specific to the situation with the swimmer. Mm-hmm. Trans woman enters the competition and wins, obviously, or didn't win, tied with the female. That swimmer, the genetically male swimmer was ranked like 500 in the men's before.
Kicked all their butts.
But then tied with the top woman.
Yeah.
Like right there, that just tells you something. Men are made different genetically. Yeah. It just is what it is.
And I think I think the media wants this to become a transphobic issue.
And it's not
It's not. All. It's a woman's issue.
Yes. Like, come on.
If it comes down to a trans person's right or my daughter's right to compete in a safe, fair setting where she has the same chances to succeed as everybody else, that trumps everything. Women had to fight for the ability to even be in sports and to be in Olympics.
Right.
To now not even to be potentially completely taken out of the running hurts my heart.
I'm pissed.
It hurts my heart. This is amazing. I am relieved by this news. I know that it's going to be a long thing and there's going to be a lot of debate and
this is not a trans issue at all.
It is this specific thing about the trans in sports is not a trans issue.
No.
It really isn't. This is about these girls are going to be missing out on scholarships. This is affecting their future.
They're losing scholarships. They've worked this is university level. They've worked their whole lives, given up their lives to be in this position.
Yeah.
And just to have it taken away by someone who
has a genetic advantage. It's not fair.
It's not fair. And women always end up taking it up the butt. That sounded horrible.
That sounded terrible.
Jeez. Sometimes I just have to think before I speak.
Yeah.
No, we're always the ones that are affected in the end.
And women are always affected in the end. And this is where my feminist side comes out. Like, it really does. Like,
it awoke something in me.
It did me
scenario
too. Like, we
in
need
itself,
to protect our girls and fight for their rights. And I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's women coming in trying to take away
women's rights.
I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Men, women, transgender people. I don't care. Like, this is a woman's issue. So this is a relief, and
it's a win.
It is a win
for women.
For women, for sure. And I don't think the majority of, I think a lot of the trans community would completely agree and support with this decision.
Absolutely.
Which is also amazing. Yes. And hopefully that their voices will be heard too in that. And they probably were. So yeah, this is very encouraging. I'm relieved. Hopefully that kind of logic will be prevalent. So, I mean, this is it's a very interesting topic for sure. And it's very
we'll come back to this type of topic at some point. Because I just got really heated inside. My insides just did something. It's just, there's just something about that was infuriating. So I'm glad it's been resolved to some degree.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine taking your daughter to practices every morning at 5 a.m. and her sacrificing so much of her high school years and university years? Like, these athletes sacrifice
so much
their lives. This is their life, especially like these swimmers and
track.
Yeah. They put so much hard work and dedication into it to not even have a chance. Unacceptable. Yeah. It's just not even.
Kyle said something to me. He said it was Serena Williams who said it, who is the number one women's tennis player. She's like, I would be like in the 200s in the men's, like rank in the 200s, because I am never going to be, I can't serve as fast. I genetically cannot serve as fast as that man. I will never be at the same level. It's just, as some men, yes, but not as the top men. You're not going against number one against number one. You're going against, it's not a level of playing field. It's like putting up the grade 12s against the grade 3s. Who's going to win? Like, that doesn't. Yeah. There's no logic in it.
No, it's not, and it really isn't a male female issue. Even
it's not at all.
It's like a physical. They have weight classes in wrestling for a reason. They're not going to put a 300-pound man with a 120. Like it just makes sense, and I don't think that. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I would think that the average trans woman wouldn't feel good about themselves kicking the butt of somebody who they know they're genetically larger than or stronger than. Like, that doesn't feel good. Does that feel like a win to that person?
Right. I know.
Like, how do you feel good about yourself?
Right. It's like taking, it's taking away from like a
it's
toddler.
Such an easy win. I don't know why that would even feel good. What are you Googling?
I just want to do a shout out to the girl who actually did win. Hold on. I'm just going to say her name because I think it's amazing. Riley Gaines. She was 23. They tied. Mm-hmm. So good for
amazing you. Amazing.
That is an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah.
You tied and you didn't get to hold that trophy. He did, but damn girl. That's all I have to say. I'm impressed, and she needs all the. I'm glad she came forward and told everybody how uncomfortable she was and how unfair it was. And yeah, Riley Gaines, giddy up. That's yours. I'm sorry, you get that win in my books. You got that. Mm-hmm. That was yours. You're number one.
All right, that was.
We're gonna end on that. Yeah. On me, all fired up.
Yeah.
All right. You want to do our?
Yeah, I mean, our information will be in the show notes, but you can find us at VSpot everywhere. VSpot or VSpot Pod. You'll find us.
TikTok, Instagram. Follow us. We'll have information on there. Maybe we'll do a live pod one day.
No.
Yeah.
Don't even.
You just wait.
That'd be a nightmare.
You just wait. It's coming.
Oh my goodness. Don't stress me out.
That's right.
A live pod.
With 4 people there.
Our biggest fans. It'll be Kyle.
Kyle and our kids. Fun.
All right. Thanks. Talk later.
Bye.
Bye.